Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Green Factor, the show where we talk about green design and the business of sustainability. I'm Haris. I'm also known as the Green Carpenter. I'm the one that does all the posting in the group. And with me today, we have Dr. Sarah. She's a user and a design researcher based in Belgium. And we are now working together on um, um administrating the Green Design Asia group. And today we'll be talking about circular, conventional, and sustainable business model. Um, yeah, so let's start the show. So, Sarah, how are you?
Good. Hello, Harith. Thank you for inviting and organizing this live show. This is my first live show, so I'm quite excited about it. So thank you again. Thank you. It's really nice to be here.
Thank you
And
for
yeah,
being here. So, uh, tell us a little bit about yourself and why do you actually pursue sustainability? You did a PhD in design for sustainability, right?
yes,
So
and yes.
do tell us about that. Hmm.
Yeah, I did my PhD in design for sustainability, but prior to that, I did my master in strategic product design. So while I was doing my master's, like it was like 10 years ago, I learned about the concept of sustainability, and there's more like a social innovation concept where people do community gardening, where you have community building, you do a lot of sharing economy. And I realized there's a lot of similarity on the way my grandma lived in Kedah, and also like our villages. Like, and then I realized the traditional way of living is already sustainable. It's just like over time when we expand, we develop our society, we kind of think this traditional lifestyle is in the past, and then we wanted to be more modern and we want to use more technology. And then when I learned about sustainability and all the actions and activities within it, I see such close similarities with our traditional way of living. And this is where I was interested, and I talked to my professor then, who I work with in Vietnam. And then I said, like, I think that like there is a very strong relationship between these two, and it's interesting to learn more about it. And that's how I end up doing my PhD in design for sustainability with a focus on cultural element of cultural heritage in sustainable design. So yes, that's a little bit about how I started.
Interesting, interesting. And now you are based in Belgium for how long already?
I've been living here for 3 years now. Part half was while writing my PhD, and then now I'm doing freelance and also studying my business here to really focus on sustainability, the connection between design, heritage, and sustainability. So that's a new venture for this year, but I will share this with you maybe after this. So some big news, but yes, uh,
Sure,
let's
sure.
go to our topic of the day.
So yeah, everyone, if you're watching this live, if you have a question, do write in the comment section. Sometime if you can't comment, maybe you are not part of the group, so you have to join the group first, then you can comment. And if there's any comment, I will prompt to the screen, and we can talk more about the question. So moving on, yeah. So we're gonna talk about business model today. Can you define, like, technically, what is a business model?
So to define business model is a linkages or relationship between. So there's like three main parts that we can divide. First is your value proposition. So this is how you come up, how you create or how you come up with your product and services. So this is your value proposition. The second part of a business model is your the value creation and delivery. So you have your propositions, and then how do you create and deliver this to your customer segments? And then you have the third part, which is your what you call value capture element. So this is your revenue stream, so your cost structure. So this is are the elements that is captured within your business model. Of course, there are a lot of different structure or different way to interpret business model, but the one that I'm very familiar with, and I think a lot of people use it, is by Oswalder and Pigner, where they divide these three aspects into. Let me go to my notes here just to make sure that So they go into the key partners, the key activities, key resources, and then you have your value propositions. And then on the other end, the value creation and delivery, you have your customer relations, you have your channels where you connect your value proposition to your customers, and then you have your customer segments. So you have your segments and your relationships can be different. So different segments might create different relationships. So these are the different connection that businesses have to understand when they look at what kind of business model we have. And then underneath these two segments, you have the cost structure. So basically, what is the cost that you need to prepare to kind of to deliver your value proposition to your customer? And then you have the revenue stream underneath, where revenue stream is your profit. So this is actually, when you look at this model, it is conventional. I would say like this is more conventional way of looking at business model, because previously the business model is really about profit. So you look at raw revenue and what is your profit. So it's just the numbers. And if you are used to the concept of the growth economy, which have proven to be unsustainable, because you want to grow and you want to make profit too, but to what extent? What are you actually sacrificing along the way? Because you want to expand your numbers, you want to increase your profit, but to what end? So that is actually the questions that people have when they started to think about, we can grow, but we cannot grow like this. This is unsustainable for the planet. Like, our resources is finite. It's not that we can use all the resources available right now. They have an expiry time to it. So and this is where sustainability come into the context, into the process, because people realize that, okay, we make a lot of products. This is like if our aim is to grow, then we make a lot of products, and then at the same time you create a lot of waste. And this is what we are facing right now, because the conventional business model never really put this into their planning. Like, okay, we throw things away, and my job is done here. This is other people's problem. We sell our products to our customer, and that's the end of your relationship. That's the end of your business model. And
So-
this is where,
So basically, the conventional business model is all about profit maximizing, correct? So it's
most of
all
them,
about
yes.
like taking and utilize the finite materials that we have. So that is how the conventional business model or capitalism system work. So these past few years, there is not to say insurgent, but there is a rise of social enterprise and awareness on how we can actually use the capital system, which is always being seen as the enemy of social causes and environment, and actually turn it into something that can do good. So that is when now there are emergence of like sustainable business model, circular business model, and so many other things that this term, the technical term. So let's talk about sustainable business model then. What does sustainable business model means?
So when you talk about sustainable business model, you look beyond the growth and the profit. So you look at the people, you look at the planet, and also the ecosystem in general. Like you think about the well-being of the individuals that work in the system and the individual outside the system. And then you look at the collective aspect of it, like, okay, how does my business influence or do good to my community? So you look at, so this is where, should I outsource this to another country further far away, or should I use the capacity within the community to kind of grow together? And then you also look beyond that, is the planet. How does my business impact the planet? So when we talk about sustainability, it's not just the numbers of profit that we look, but the people as well. Like I have a business venture here. I can choose who I want to hire. Like, so some businesses look at, we want to hire a disadvantaged group in our community, for example, single mothers. So the business itself, when you build the model, you don't just think about, I'm making a service that I want to sell to people and I make profit, but I have this service that I have in mind. How can I capitalize this service, at the same time improve the livelihood of the community closer to me? Or how can I improve the planet or the environment that is connected to my business? For example, if you are working with bamboo, you look at the community, the stakeholders within the supply chain, and how do you improve your supply chains, and you select your supply chain within this mindset, within this idea in mind. So you don't just look at who give me the lowest price, for example. You look at who provide me the best value for my business. And this is where sustainable model is slightly different than the conventional one.
So a sustainable business model means that we look more than just profit, correct? So it's
Yeah.
people, planet, and profit. So sometimes we have this misunderstanding that it needs to work like an NGO. Same as I have a lot of this question, because like social entrepreneurships are being seen or being run as a NGO, where you only do good, and then sometimes you get money from companies or corporate, and you do your work and your business at the same time. So we need to draw the line between what is an NGO role and what is a social enterprise role. Like social enterprise is a business on its own. It needs to be profitable. It needs to work like a business. It's just that the
Yes.
way we channel the profit or the decision that we made does not really just focus on the issue of profit. So to continue with the discussion, and like there's we now like we need to understand what does circular business model means then.
Yeah, okay. I would start a little bit about my own experience when I learned about circularity, maybe 7 years ago. I was like, why are you using this new term? Because essentially it is about sustainability. But what happened then is a lot of companies focus on the social aspect of sustainability. Like, you do CSR projects, you work with disadvantaged group, indigenous group, which is all good. But a lot of companies use this without doing any changes on their current business activity. And they still would get this, because a lot of people are getting this like points for like your green or sustainability activities, right? And a lot of companies focus on the social aspect of sustainability because it's it's fairly easy to be done, but at the same time, it doesn't push them to change anything about their business activity. So I can just do my business as usual. I still get my green points, which essentially is good, but we want, like, so basically the community want, businesses want organization to do more than this. And this is where circularity comes into place, because circularity is really about resources. Like, you can't talk about circularity without changing your business activities. Because if you use, for example, plastic, and then you think about the circularity, the resources that you use to process this, the supply chain within this system, and then you have your products, and then where does it goes afterwards, like whether it goes into a loop, whether you try to narrow down, extend your life cycle. So circular economy or circularity really push companies or push organizations to change the way they run their day-to-day activities. And this is where it is, I would say, under the umbrella of sustainability, but it's really focused on resources that an entity use throughout their process. So yeah, that's where if people ask about if I have a sustainable business model, like a social enterprise, for example, it is a sustainable. It is part of a sustainable business model. But then you look into their process, their daily activities, and then see whether they actually close the loops or they are trying to narrow down the loop, for example.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah.
Understand. That's a good way to sum the meaning behind it. So, like for example, like how I what currently I'm doing, we are moving toward zero waste manufacturing, where we try to reduce as much waste as we can. So this is to reduce the waste that we create. However, we are now moving towards a circular kind of approach, where we are trying to see how the products that we sell can if let's say the user doesn't have a use for it anymore, or there's something that's broken, and normally they throw it away, we want to be able to reclaim that material back, so they can send it back to us and we will make it to something, so that it closes the loop. It goes so how many times, and that is something that is very difficult to achieve, but these are some of the things that we need to look into. Like as a practitioner, the way we approach this business model, or at least how I approach it, is actually a more practical approach to it. Like for example, like we study the whole process on how we manufacture the products. So I've been doing sustainable manufacturing or studying into sustainable manufacturing for more than 8 years. So what I found is there's a lot of things that people have it wrong in terms of sustainability. Like people always think like it's about the environment. So actually, environment is a byproduct of the business model. However, it's actually the processes that's involved make sense in terms of make business sense. Like for example, efficiency is part of sustainability. So by reducing the amount of input to create the same output, we actually practicing greener principle. So sometimes people forget that efficiency is also part of sustainability. So how I look into sustainability is how we can sustain in the long term, and how we see all our processes that is involved during the production, before the production, after the production, and also all the stakeholder that is involved in the operation of the business, like the government, the community, other stakeholders, even our shareholders. So it's not about sacrificing a profit. We now live in a time where we have enough knowledge to create a business model that can make money, can thrive, but at the same time protect the environment. It's never happened before. Before this, businesses is all about taking, mining, and it's a very a linear way of doing things, and that is where we
Yes,
get a
that's
lot of
true.
scarcity. So having the circular model helps with our future resources, like what you say. It's all about resource, so that we can sustain in a longer period of time. So yeah, so that is how we should look into sustainability for
Yeah,
businesses,
totally agree with
because
that. Yes.
yep, because like people always think that if we want to do green, manufacturers lah,
Yeah.
if they want to do green products, they have to install solar panels, they have to buy expensive machines, they have to use material that is expensive, right? So that's why people are afraid, because it impact the bottom line, which is profit. But there are actually ways for you to actually profit from doing green practices. Like for example, we use our waste wood to make products, and just to show this product. So this is actually a phone holder. This is a byproduct of our serving board. When we make our serving board, we have small pieces. So we want to use this wood rather than throw away. So we make it into a phone holder. So this phone holder started off by us wanting to reduce our waste, but now it's actually one of our bestseller. We have sold like thousands of it. So just by having a different approach to seeing green, you can actually profit from it. So that is where what Green Design Malaysia is about, where we discuss things that is practical and make sense. And this is why right now I'm doing a lot of this sharing session, and our admins also, we have talk every month, at least once, on what we should do and how we can give as much value and how we can give better understanding to everyone in terms of where we should be heading. And thank you very much for you guys for being part of us and supporting the cause, because this thing is what is important for us right now. There's so many things in Malaysia that needs to be looked back at. And we are hoping that by having Green Design Malaysia, we can at least make a dent or create a movement or some change into our ecosystem so that we can progress Malaysia as in a more sustainable way. So back to the question. So let's see if there's any question. Okay. Can't have it today. Okay, there is a question. Thank you for this session. I was wondering if you are aware of the triple bottom line. Yeah, so let's talk about triple bottom line. So triple bottom line, it's a concept that have been introduced by, I can't remember who, but it's about people, planet, profit. So in order for us to move our business in a more sustainable way, we should look into this key element instead of just profit. So Dr. Sarah, do you want to explain more about the triple bottom line?
Yeah, I think, the triple bottom line. So it has been, this is actually one of the main idea of sustainability that has been written, like it has been like the basis of a lot of sustainable development. So you look at the like people, planet, and well, not necessarily profit, but more about economy. Okay, so it's about the economy, but it is actually also problematic in a way because it actually involve it makes a lot of it creates a lot of focus on the economy mainly, and then the people and the environment become the byproduct of any economic decision. And but we have been like the sustainability development has been growing from this, I would say, from these three, like this triple bottom line is what we are used to. So there are actually a lot of newer research, other researcher that I hope I saw somebody say so. Okay, but okay, I will go back. So these three things is actually should be looked holistically. It shouldn't be looked at one economy, a planet, and people. We should look at the interaction between these three aspects. And there's also other argument that say like we should include cultural in this bottom line as well, because there's nothing we didn't talk at all about culture, but it is actually very much integrated in our life, like when you look at this interaction. So from my perspective, like sustainability should be observed in like creating a flourishing interaction between all these different elements. Like you have individuals level, you have community level, and you have your state, or like the bigger places, like where you're coming from, like either the province, the state, the country, and then the planet. And And all this connection and all this interaction that we have, we should look at the options that is most sustainable or that is flourishing for everybody. How do I create a product that improve a well-being of an individual? How can I create a product that improve the well-being or the economic of my group or my businesses? And how does my business impact the community that I'm based at? And how does this community support the bigger state or the bigger like our national or like national or state, at a national or state level? And how does this whole, like Malaysia for example, influence the bigger aspect of sustainability of the planet? And when you look at this small, just one interaction that you observe and try to make them flourishing, then the other aspect could also be improved as well. So when the question is there a modified value proposition canvas that one would suggest? I would say there's two that I would suggest. Like one name that I can suggest is like Nancy Bokken. She is one of the, I would say, the person that I know, an expert in sustainable business model, Nancy Bokken from Maastricht University. And the second one is Jan Konecki. I'm sorry, like both of them used to work in TU Delft, so I've worked with them before, and I'm kind of a bit biased in my selection. But I'm sure there's a lot of other options, other people that you can learn to. But both of them are working in circular business strategies. So if you are interested to look for other different canvases, that is, or business canvases that specifically focus on circularity and sustainable business model, I would these are the names that I would suggest. And apart from that, you can always contact me, and you can always I can always give you a little bit more explanation in detail about of each of these canvases, because there's a lot of different canvases available. And I usually go by context, understanding the company, before I pick or before I suggest a canvas that is suitable to be used, or a combination of canvases that can be applied.
Cool. Maybe this is one of the posts that we need from you, Sarah.
And this is why I like this session, because it's kind of create a content spontaneously.
Yeah. So thank you for that. So we have some homework to do to research all these names, but thank you for that. Let's talk about your observation on Europe, the current situation in Europe and Southeast Asia, in terms of sustainable business model and the way things are being done.
Okay, see, we have 2 minutes left. I'll make it quick. I think in terms of in Europe, there's like a Green Deal, European Green Deal that is coming, or has been approved. So there is a lot of incentive coming from the states themselves to kind of influence a lot of businesses to start really like driving towards sustainable green effort. And in our customer segment, market segment, I would say sustainability, like in Europe, there is a high demand on sustainable products and services, and even investment as well. Like people start to look like, I want to invest, but only on green sustainable businesses. I don't want to invest in just businesses that give me profit. So that's one thing. And from a Southeast Asia perspective, I've worked before in Vietnam, so I'm a bit biased there. But there is a lot of sustainability effort that is given, or that is currently activated within the SMEs in Vietnam as well as Philippines. But I would say not much yet in Malaysia from a top down. In Malaysia, there's a lot of activities going on at the bottom, like a lot of grassroots movements, but I don't see a strong support from the state as for now in terms of sustainability.
Yeah, so that is what we've been talking, and it is true. We are not really there yet in terms of sustainable businesses. However, like what I always say, in Malaysia, it's not really the issue of awareness. There's a lot of people that understand that we should be more greener. We should buy green things. When you talk to the younger generation, they already know that we need to go green. So it's not really the issue of awareness. The two things that I always talk about is one, availability. If someone wants to buy let's say a green mouse, can they get it? So if you can't, then there is a demand, but there is no supply. So availability, accessibility, and also affordability. People always think that green products are expensive. To a certain extent, it is. It seems like that, but actually there are many ways where you can make products or green products cheaply. We have to work toward making sustainable product accessible to the mass. Like for example, I make kitchenware and gifts that is focusing more on the higher end of the market. Some of it are expensive. However, because our main goal is to get as much green product to the mass as possible, so we have a lot of products that is below 25 ringgit. So people can buy, like the phone holders, there are a few other things as well. And people have access to it. And we are looking to find more things or more ways to actually give as much product at the most competitive price. And this is what we want more businesses to go into, not seeing green product as a premium, just premium product. We need to make green product accessible in all the segment of the market. So this is where Green Design Malaysia comes in, where we have discussion with academician, with researcher, with students and business, and also our main focus, designers, on how we can make this a reality. How can we make Malaysia a hub for sustainable product and design? And this is what we aim to do with Green Design Malaysia. And yeah, so let's continue last before we finish the session. What three things that businesses can do to make their business greener, Sarah?
Okay, I think that the first thing is first to look at your business, like to look at the current practices in your business, because more often than not, there is already a number of sustainable practices that you can extract from the current practices. You don't need to start something new. First, look at what you have. And the second one is find partners or mentors that is that is connected to your business or outside your business that is already practicing sustainable green activities in their business. Get to know get the partners that is green or sustainability focused. So that's like second thing. And the third thing is to start small. Like I often say, like this is like to get your engine going. Like when the business is already there, try to start small by looking at one problem, for example, or looking at one material that you can improve. Looking at like instead of supplier A, maybe which is already been problematic. If you're going to find a new supplier, find a supplier that offers certain green or sustainability element in their offering. So that's my three advice or some points for companies to start being green.
So I would like to add another one. So how I do it is I study the whole process of the operation and all the stakeholders that is involved in the business. And what I try to do is see each process and find ways to make it greener. Like we look into the material, the glue, the coating, the packaging that we use, the operation, and our community and government interaction and all that. So we try to make each process greener. Start with the one that have the least income impact, the cheapest that you can do, and also the easiest to do, and the one that after that is the one that can actually help the business. Like you have waste, so maybe you can use the waste to make something and it bring benefit to the company. So the way businesses should look at sustainability is more towards different elements that can help the business, because we want green businesses to succeed. We want more green business to be big, and we need to show that green business model works, sustainable business model works. And once people see that green businesses survive and thrive in this day and age, then other businesses will see that, oh, this is something that we can emulate, and this is what we want. Because when we talk to businesses, it's not really about saving the environment. A lot of other businesses don't really care much about the environment, they care about profit. So when we talk to businesses, we need to talk about their profit. Whatever that is being said and done, meaning like for me, of course, I'm a environmentalist, so that's why I do this. But for me, when I talk to businesses, I don't really talk about why you should do this to save the environment. So in a way, when we talk about profit, they get what they want, and we get what we want, which is saving the environment. So now we need to convince people that don't believe in sustainability that sustainability is actually good for the business, not because of the environment, but actually to the bottom line. And this is what I have been experiencing. I get good coverage. I get businesses coming to me to do business with me. I get a lot of different thing that is beneficial for me because I'm doing something sustainable. And this is why I share my story now, because within this 8 years, I've tried the business model. I keep it hush when I first start, because I need to study the what is it? Do people want to buy it? Is there a demand for it and all that? And now after 8 years, we are seeing there's a lot of good benefit for businesses to adopt sustainability. It's not about the environment, but a competitive advantage or a growth strategy for the company, so that the company can profit and at the same time be what do you call it, sustaining in the long term. So I think we are almost at the end of the show. It's now 37 minutes. So thank you very much, guys. I think we'll do another session maybe with other admin, Mr. Ikang and Mr. Asri. And hope we can have more discussions like this. And if you have any question that we cannot answer, do post in the group and we will try to answer it there. And if you find the show or the content that we produce is beneficial for people, do share it, do comment, interact with it, because we want more people to interact with each other. And the issues that we post, there need to be a lot more people thinking about it. Like when I see sustainability, it's a lot of things. It's also mental health, it's efficiency, it's culture preservation. It's a lot of different elements, and we need more heads to talk about this issue. So do be part of us, be more active, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye. Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you. Thank you, Hari.
Bye-bye.
Bye.